a completely negative review of Starfield. Uh-oh, here we go.
I like Bethesda RPGs. The first one I tried was Oblivion, and after Oblivion I tried Morrowind, which continues to be till this day one of my favorite games of all time.
I never played Morrowind.
I think it's the best one that Bethesda has made in that style, and I have continued to enjoy Bethesda RPGs since that point. I like Fallout 3, I like Fallout New Vegas, and I even like Skyrim. Even though in all of those games I had complaints, like a lot of complaints, they're still fun, they're strangely hypnotic. Even Fallout 4, which I didn't like, still drew me in for a long period of time before I realized, oh, I hate this game. The Bethesda RPG formula is so powerful that it took dozens of hours of playing Fallout 4 before you realized, oh, I don't like this is bad.
I remember I had that happen with a number of games. One of them, I was actually thousands of hours into the game and I started to realize that. It's kind of an interesting realization.
That's why people that are defenders of Bethesda games, whenever you criticize it and you say, well, I played for 10 hours or 20 hours and I didn't like it, didn't draw me in, didn't like this, didn't like that, they'll be like, oh, 10 hours, 20 hours, that's nothing.
Yeah.
The game just started. You can't judge on a Bethesda RPG game with only 10 hours of gameplay under your belt. No, that's ridiculous. It sounds silly to say, but they have a point. So to quiet some of those critics, let me inform you that my game time is about 100 hours now. In that playtime, I finished the main story and all
Oh, bro, he had to go through all that fucking shit? Oh, God. He had to play the main... Oh, Jesus. The main story. God, man, this guy really went through the ringer for this fucking video.
Major faction quests, and started the game over several times, picking different skills to focus on each time. And my conclusion after doing that is that it's much of what I expected from a Bethesda RPG. And I think it's a lot better than Fallout 4, which is the only one of these games I didn't really like at all. So I had a lot of fun with it. You don't play a game for 100 hours and not enjoy yourself. But I have a lot of complaints. I have a lot of...
I've played games for 100 hours and been pissed off the whole time many times. Like, yeah, I think that's like the norm for me. I've played Starfield. Let me show you guys. My Starfield playtime is 56 hours. So I played a good amount of time. Not a whole lot, but I played a little bit. Not as much as him. But I've in general enjoyed my time playing the game. That's the reason, is I've enjoyed my time playing the game for the most part. That's it, because all I do is I run around and I shoot people.
Complaints. And that's what this video is going to focus on. If you're looking for a comprehensive review that's weighing positive and negatives, you should go look elsewhere. Because I like to stick to doing the things I do well. And that's complaining. I'm very good at complaining.
Okay.
In all
Let's go.
Bethesda RPGs, the worst version of the game is the version you buy at release.
I've heard about that. That apparently Bethesda does such a bad job at maintaining their own games that the community doesn't want them to update their own games because it might break some of the mods that have already fixed the problems that the updates are supposed to fix. They're like, please, just leave it alone. Stop. No, we don't want a 1.1, 1.10. No. Just here. We fixed it. It's fine. Just stay away.
Starfield seems to have a bunch of planned DLC already.
Oh, good.
And they've announced that there are going to be major patches to the game as it goes forward.
Thank God.
And so complaining is a good thing because it helps inform them on what needs attention. And universally agreed upon problems could be rectified in one of those patches or as a part of one of the major DLCs.
Yeah, sure.
Problem 1 with Starfield is the build and weapon variety for anything other than a ballistics playthrough. The weapon variety for laser weapons suck. The weapon variety for particle weapons also sucks.
You mean there's weapons besides ballistic weapons? Oh, I guess there's laser weapons, but they're the exact same, though. It's just a laser instead of a bullet. Like, it plays the exact same. It's not like there's actually a function, a functional difference between the two, right? I think it's the same.
And the melee weapons have it worse than anybody. Now,
Melee in Starfield really sucks dick.
Talked about the laser weapons in my last
sucks
video,
dick.
but the
It's
problem
bad.
was a lot worse than I realized since that. To recap the complaint in that video, there are only 3 laser weapons in the entire game: the Solstice, the Equinox, and the Orion. Now you could bump that up to 5 if you include the Cutter and the Arc Welder. Now I'm not sure you should include them,
No,
but
I wouldn't.
Whatever, let's include them for the sake of argument. That's 5 total at most. With the overwhelming majority that you're going to see at any given time is the first 3.
Yeah.
Now out of those 5, the Arc Welder, the Orion, and the Equinox all use the same type of ammo. They're all competing for the same resource. The Solstice, on the other hand, uses a different type of ammo, and it's the only gun in the game that uses that ammo type.
I feel like there's a lot of ammunition in Starfield that doesn't really need to be there. Like, one time I scrolled through my ammunition tab, and I realized that I think there's more types of ammunition than guns. What the fuck?
Which is something that doesn't happen to any other weapon in the game. It doesn't make any sense. The laser weapons are obviously neglected. When you look at the scope and variety of the ballistic weapon category and compare it to any other weapon category, you see how big the disparity is. I suspect that there's a good reason for this. I think that Bethesda is going to retroactively add a bunch of mid to low tier laser weapons in one of their DLC updates. I'm betting in the first one that they release.
Why don't we have a laser sword? Were you fucking kidding me? Are you telling me that we don't have a Halo 2 energy sword? Why the fuck not? Every melee weapon I get, it's like you can either get one of these or you get one of these. And it's like you're gonna hit somebody, it's like... doesn't do shit. Meanwhile, I have my fucking sniper rifle that crits for 3.5k with no buffs. It's a waste of fucking time.
Scattered space, that will be about House Varun. It'll add more mid, low, and high tier laser weapons, maybe even some particle weapons, and then they'll do something similar to melee weapons in a subsequent update. We will talk about the melee...
Bro, how do you miss that? Like, not him, but like, how does this miss?
They'll do something similar...
Like, watch. Whoa, wait. Let's see the shot. Hitboxes are so fun. No, it's not even this one. It's the next one. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Is this a joke?
Talk about the melee weapons as well, because they got it even worse. But first, let me respond to some of the rebuttals I got to my last video discussing this issue.
Uh-oh.
One of the common...
Oh, yeah, this is where the Starfield defenders come in.
Comments that I got was something like, oh, that just happened to you. You know, you just didn't play for long enough. I got tons of cool...
The beauty of Starfield is that it is so vast, and 2 random people can have 2 very different experiences. I saw nothing but laser weapons. I'm just trying to read through him so I can understand, like, what his capitalization logic is, right? And, like, what his spacing logic is. Because, like, sometimes you have, like 2 or 3 spaces, like, right here. But, like, most of the other times there's not 2 or 3 spaces. But, like, Starfield's capitalized. I isn't capitalized. I don't know. I'm just curious, right? I was thinking about it. Anyway, I saw nothing but laser weapons, laser sniper rifles, laser pistol, etc. And I never used them. I just give the best laser weapons to Andreja and forget about the rest.
Laser weapons.
Mobile commenter?
So many different laser weapons and many different varieties. And so I'll respond to that criticism here. You did not find a bunch of laser weapons.
You found the same laser weapon a bunch of times.
You didn't. Nobody did. What you found was different varieties of the same 3 laser weapons.
True. So true. Fucking obviously. It's actually crazy how some of these people just have literally no fucking idea what they're talking about, you know? I mean, obviously, yeah, it's like, I mean, I'm not a fucking... Well, you think I'm a wizard because I fucking figured out what he's gonna say? It's common sense. And yeah, there's a laser sniper rifle. And you know what the chances of getting that is? I played for 50 hours and all I do is combat, and I found 1. Now, it was a really good one. I use it now all the time, which is really cool, but I've only found 1.
You found Equinoxes, Solstices, and Orions with different weapon
look
mods
at the
or perks on the
shots
weapons.
there.
You found legendary versions of those weapons, and that's all you found. Because that's all that's in the game. I also,
Bro, watch this.
and that's all you found.
Watch. This game is so good.
Because that's all that's in the game. I also got...
What the fuck is this? I don't understand. How does this happen? It just works? I just didn't.
comments saying, nah, man, I found better weapons down the line, you know, those Veyruun weapons.
Yeah.
And those are not laser weapons, those are particle weapons.
You want to know the real problem with this game? I'll tell you one of the problems is that every fucking gun is the same because there are no ballistics in the game. The only ballistics that exist is with the heavy guns, and even they have almost no ballistics whatsoever. Almost every single gun is effectively hit scan. It happens instantaneously, so it doesn't matter whether it's a laser rifle or a gun. Like, for example, let's use another game called Apex Legends. Let's look at the two sniper rifles. We're going to exclude the Kraber, okay? Let's look at the longbow and the triple take. Okay, the longbow does more damage and it has a drop off, whereas the triple take does lower damage unless you have the choke, and it has almost no drop off. It has maybe a very small amount, right? Triple take's not a sniper. I thought it was basically kind of as, I don't know, I use it a lot as a sniper. Either way, right? A lot of the laser weapons had almost no ballistics, so there is a difference between these two weapons. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I thought I was taking fucking crazy pills. Yeah, triple take was a fucking sniper. I remember you could get like the choke on it and it would do like 100 damage if you like headshot somebody with it. Yeah, it was insane. So, yeah, this is the problem. It's because every gun is the same, whether it's shooting a blue bullet or a black bullet or like a bronze bullet. It doesn't matter, really, does it? Because it's all the same. Apex ballistics so good. The one with the one hit scan weapons, the charge rifle. Well, I think the game with the best ballistics that were meaningful was PUBG. I think PUBG ballistics are to this day unmatched, and I actually think that it made the game way better. I never played Tarkov. Never played Tarkov. I cannot comment on that. I did play Tarkov. I played it once. I killed a guy. He shot me. I ran away. I bled out, and I died, and I quit the game. I bought the $150 version of the game too. So yeah, I was watching Summit play it, and I was like, fuck, you know, I might as well try this out, right? And so yeah, that was about it. I saw they had like a Bitcoin farmer in the game, and I said, all right, that's enough. And so maybe one day I'll play it again. Either way, I have to say that PUBG's ballistics made the game. Do you remember those shots that like Dr. Disrespect would take? Where he just like aimed the gun up and there'd be like some guy who's like literally smaller than my mouse on the screen right now, and he'd just shoot them, and like about every 3 months he'd post a clip of it hitting him. The legendary shots, yes, exactly. Shroud would take these, like everybody would take these, right? It was so good. And the problem with Starfield is that there is no ballistics. Like anytime I see an enemy really far away, I like instinctively, I'm like, okay, aim like, you know, one head above them, right? No. You just aim at their head. Whoa, you aim at their head and then this happens.
Weapons. And those are not laser weapons, those are particle weapons.
Oh, wait a second.
Nah, man. Because that's all that's in the game.
This is what happens.
I also...
That's really impressive. What do you mean by ballistics? Ballistics is like this. Pretty simple idea. You shoot the bullet. Uzi, M16, and what's a sniper, a short sniper name? Fucking, I don't know, like, what's a, M2? Yeah, M2. Let's just actually do AWP, yeah, of course. Okay, so M16 is gonna go like this. AWP is gonna go like this. And Uzi is going to go like this. So, what this does is it creates a metagame of, like, how bullets will react to your individual combat situation. And this is in real life, too. Like, snipers, like, Snipers in real life, legitimately, if you're making a very, very long distance shot, my understanding is that they have to some degree, account for the curvature of the Earth. This is real fucking science. So yes, I think it's very interesting in games whenever they have this. It might be annoying. Well, wind is obvious, right? Wind, effects, like everything else is obvious, but like it goes to the extent of the curvature of the Earth.
Got comments saying, nah, man, I found better weapons down the line, you know, those Veyroon weapons. And those are not laser weapons, those are particle weapons. But just to emphasize the point I'm trying to make, let's count them. Let's include all of them, because after all, there's some logic to saying that that's the case.
What an absolute cock of a game, bro.
Let's include...
What a cock of a game. You see that? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is the... Like, whenever I look at a game, I'm not thinking about the kind of weapons around the game. This game can have one weapon for all I care. But it better fucking work. Jesus.
Include all of them, because after all, there's some logic to saying that that's the case. The laser weapon perk that you can get does affect the laser part of the damage of the particle weapons. Laser weapon
Again.
Perk that you can get does affect the laser part of the damage.
It's a low accuracy weapon. What's the accuracy on the Orion? That's the gun he's using. I think it's about 65%, something like that. 62%. It's 45. Mine's 77%. That's insane. You understand, like, a 70% chance not occurring 4 times in a row, like earlier, is like actually astronomically low probability? That's insane.
Of the particle weapons. So let's include them all together.
How far away is.
There are 2 particle weapon pistols, 1 particle weapon shotgun, and 1 particle weapon rifle. So that's 4. If you put the laser weapon and the particle weapon category together, even if you include the cutter and the arc welder, that's still only 9 weapons total. 9. For ballistic weapons...
A problem like with Halo, for example, you have really cool guns with Halo. Like, you've got your BR, but you've also got your Needler. Like, the Needler is the coolest weapon from Halo. Regardless of how much damage it does, it is the coolest weapon from Halo. Starfield doesn't have a lot of those.
There's around 30. 3 times as many. There's a trend here.
Yeah, fuel rod cannon,
weapon
Spartan laser. Yeah.
There's a lot of weapons with a lot of ammo types. There's a lot of options in it. And every other category is neglected. Especially the melee category. The melee building in Starfield is just awful.
Well, there isn't melee building. There's not. And if you look at what the melee talents are, they're really bad. Like, they're not going to make up for it.
Like, it's much worse than even what they've done before in their previous games.
Yeah.
The weapon variety is again poor, with there being
intro.
less than 10 melee weapons in the game. There's no two-handed weapons that you can use. They're all stuck to 3-hit combos, 3-hit combo, pause, 3-hit combo, pause. The power attacks tied to these weapons suck. And not just compared to games like Skyrim that have a big emphasis on melee. They also suck even in comparison to Fallout, which also has guns. There was more strategy involved in Fallout melee. One of the reasons is because the power attacks had a kind of lunging effect. You could cross distances and take advantage of an opening.
That was actually one of the really great things about Armored Core 6, is the some of the weapons, the melee weapons, had a lunge effect. It actually was like a huge advantage that you would have if you could use that in like the right way. It was actually so cool.
And that's another problem. There's not as many openings in this game. Because in Fallout, you were...
People say nitpick the video. Somebody said that in chat. Let me explain something to you. Combat matters. And in my opinion, it matters more than anything else. So if the game doesn't play well, and it's not fun to actually play, then that's not a nitpick. That's like the main course of the game.
Constantly fighting animals. You were constantly fighting things that would engage you in melee combat. And that was the case even for the human enemies. Many of them used melee weapons as well. So there were a lot more opportunities for you to get good at engaging in melee combat.
Sure.
Figuring out when to block, when to step to one side or the other, when to use your power attack lunge to get in some damage. It wasn't, like, great. It wasn't spectacular, but it's a lot more than what we have in Starfield. In Starfield...
And could we talk about the fact that this enemy right here, like, I was recently on a level 75 planet, and I was fighting an enemy, and it looked... the funny thing is about this enemy is it actually looked exactly the same as this enemy right here. Yeah, that's the crazy thing, is that it was a level... but it said 99. Or, sorry, 98 on it.
A lot more than what we have in Starfield. In Starfield, you're not engaging with alien monsters very often.
No.
In my experience, the most you're dealing with is other humans.
Yeah.
There's very few quests that will put you in front of alien monsters that will engage you in melee combat. There's some, but not nearly as many as you would in Fallout. So most of the time you're dealing with human enemies. Most of those human enemies
I played that show like Dark Souls.
Are using guns. And even when you are facing an enemy that's also using a melee weapon...
Automatic. Oh, I never seen that one before.
The melee combat is so simplistic that the strategy is the same regardless of what you're doing. It's run up to the enemies and whack at them and hope you don't die in the attempt. Which can be a real pain if you're playing on the hardest difficulty. You have to understand, I'm not saying that the melee combat was a masterpiece in those Fallout games and previous Bethesda games, but it was a lot better than this. A lot of the times the enemies will run away from you in Starfield. They'll just start sprinting away from you. And I chase them, but I often can't hit them again while they're running away. And I would have been able to if I still had my lunge attack from Fallout. Another problem with the melee is that you can't modify it. There's no crafting associated with the melee weapons.
I'm going to be honest, like all this part, like I can't even really comment on it because I remember I got a really good melee weapon and I tried using it and it did basically no damage. And I thought to myself, okay, let's go back to the gun. And I never did melee again.
It's like the whole thing is an afterthought. There's no attack speed rating on the weapon to compare one to the other, and I think that might be because they all have the same attack speed. I'm not entirely sure, but they all seem to attack in the same way.
I don't know why, but just like the way he said that just sounded so sad.
And at that point, why even have different types? Why wouldn't you have the light knife weapons attack faster but do less damage, and then the heavier weapons attack more slowly but do more damage? This is space. Why isn't there some kind of energy-based melee weapon? Why isn't there some that work like a stun baton and do EM damage?
True.
I thought the weapon variety was bad for the laser weapons, but if it's true that all of the melee weapons have the same attack speed, then I was wrong. The melee weapons have it the worst. Because that means that there's not 9 melee weapons.
There's one.
There's one with different skins.
Yeah.
At that point, it doesn't matter if the dagger says it's different than the cutlass. If they...
I had this same thing happen. Like, I looted a sword, right? I looted an actual sword. Like a fucking... It was like some sort of like Japanese like sword, I think, right? And I used it, and it was like, wait, this is the same thing as the other one.
Swing at the same speed, and there's no other variables to them, then they're the same weapon, and one is just objectively better. Why don't we have two-handed melee weapons? Why don't we have high-technology shields to go with the one-handed weapons? Why does everything seem to be so underbaked and give off the impression that they intend to do something about it in future updates?
Well, I'm sure they'll fix this
Here's a
on
good
the
example.
second DLC.
Why can't we have an evil companion? Or at least...
Yeah, that's true. All my companions are pussies, and whenever I start killing innocent civilians, everybody runs away. I can't ever play the game, man. And then I try to get Sarah. I said, bitch, get the fuck out of here. And then she says, no, I'm not going to leave. You have to do my quest line. I don't want to fucking do your quest line. Get the fuck out of here. I don't care about your shit.
One that's not such a goody two-shoes. All of the major companions are the ones in Constellation. And those are the only ones you can run.
Remember what I said about how I described this game narrative with the word safe? Oh, pussy shit.
Let's list out their qualities for a second. You got Sarah, who likes being honest and being nice. You got Sam, who likes justice and being nice. You got Barrett, that likes it when you avoid confrontation and being nice. And then you have Andreja, who likes helping people and being a nice person. And that would be fine, but at the moment Constellation is the only place where you can get these important companions. You can hire some randos from bars, but that's not the same. Why can't I have an evil companion join me as part of the Crimson Fleet questline? The game lets me join...
You should have an evil companion that occasionally turns on you and tries to kill you. Like, anytime that you're under half health, there's like a 1% chance that they'll start trying to shoot you.
The Crimson Fleet. It lets me be an evil bastard. It lets me take on quests to engage in piracy.
Call 'em patches.
But it doesn't give me a fleshed out companion to enjoy that with.
Make them bald.
And this next thing, this is the biggest problem I have with Starfield. This is the real one that bothers me.
Bro, how do you miss that?
This is the biggest problem I have with Starfield.
Watch.
This is the real...
Are you fucking kidding me? How does that even happen? It went through his fucking arm. Is this the curvature of the Earth like we were talking about?
That bothers me. One of the biggest appeals I have with Bethesda's previous RPGs is that I enjoy exploring.
Yeah.
The act of walking around
Yeah.
and seeing things that catch your interest and walking over to those things. Like in Skyrim, seeing the temples carved into the mountainsides. I like walking around in these carefully crafted environments and letting the atmosphere wash over me.
Carefully crafted.
And much of the enjoyment from this kind of activity comes from the actual walking, from exploring, from physically moving from place to place. And in Starfield, that's gone. It's basically non-existent. Exploration in Starfield is done through menu navigation. You pull up your star chart menu, you pull up the system that you want to go to, and then you just fast travel there. Or even worse, you pull up...
Here's another thing, is like whenever you click the X to travel, you have to wait to click the X again to do the bar to travel to the planet. It's like just like a really, really small bit of friction that's fucking annoying. Just this little tiny, oh, it's so small, but it's so fucking annoying.
Your quest menu, and then have it directly send you to wherever the quest wants you to go. I have no idea what planets I visited to do the main quests or the side quests. I don't know what systems those planets were on. I don't know what they were close to or far away from.
Yeah.
And even if I touch down on a planet and decide to explore, there's nothing to explore.
That's not true. There's rocks. And after the rocks, there might be another rock. And then there could be a geographic anomaly, and you could scan it and get 20 experience.
Isn't anything there. The
Or a
areas
cave
on the
that has
planets
rocks
that you
in it.
visit will have some points of interest that seem to be handcrafted. But between them...
They're handcrafted and then multiplied. So, like, if you go to, like, 10 different camps, you've been to about 100 different camps.
is like 5 minutes of procedurally generated bullshit. There is just nothing satisfying about exploring in this way. You know, I saw a lot of people getting upset that you couldn't actually go across the whole planet.
I don't care about that.
You know,
I'm going to be honest. Like, yeah, it's kind of cheesy, but like, I really don't think that's a big deal.
There were invisible walls at certain points, and you couldn't go any further past those points. And I just don't agree with that criticism, because why would you want to explore the whole planet if the whole planet is like this? There isn't anything there. If anything, I wish the planet was a lot less explorable. I wish the planet's explorable area, which was much smaller. You couldn't just land anywhere on the planet. You could land on specific areas, and these areas had more tailored content. Like, I don't want to go into a cave and find some more mineral resource nodes. I don't.
Especially whenever the mineral resources are just completely invalidated. That's another big problem, is that, like, if you have an outpost somewhere, you are generating literally hundreds of thousands of these resources at will. Yeah, or you just buy them, yeah.
I don't care. I don't want to see another research tower and you kill all the ecliptic mercenaries in the area and you go up the tower and...
Oh, I don't mind that. I like killing the guys. That's the fun part of the game.
Gives you a little bit of information on the planet's resources. I don't care. No.
Oh, this guy, I went to this exact same area, and then he's going to give you a quest, and you're going to have to go and I think deliver something? I forgot what it was exactly. And he's going to talk to you right here.
So I completely don't understand people that were upset that you couldn't explore the whole planet, because that wasn't the problem. The problem was that there
you have to kill the spacers.
wasn't anything on those planets that were worth exploring.
Yeah.
My impression of Starfield is that it needs a lot of work. I said this in the beginning, but all Bethesda RPGs are at their worst state when they first release. They get much better over time, after they've gotten all their patches,
mods,
DLCs, and mod support. I expect I'll enjoy it a lot more once all of these things come out, but as it stands, I don't think I really had a great time with it, and my recommendation to people thinking about getting it is to wait. And that's the end of this video. Please unsubscribe and unclick the bell notification. Hopefully you've been alienated, and if you haven't, I'm sure I'll get to you in a future video. Until then, thank you very much for watching.
What a great video. I think that what I'm gonna do is I'll probably play Starfield a bit more. Like, I'll probably get to like level 250, 300 or so, and get like a few really good legendary weapons, and then I'm just gonna quit until the DLC. And my goal will be to never actually do the main story. Yeah, never do the main story. I don't even know who the characters are. Yeah, literally have no idea. I have so much more fun doing that. Any faction, maybe in my world, I'll see if I can just kill every single NPC in the game. Like, I'll go to the Crimson Fleet, kill everybody at the Crimson Fleet. Go to the United, like the fucking Navy, kill everybody at the Navy. Just fucking kill everybody and everything. And that's it. The main story doesn't even end. I don't know. But yeah, this Radic Oscar does great fucking videos. I like the amount of misses that you have with guns is just crazy. Like, watch this.
Because that's all that's in the game. I also got...
Are you kidding me, man? Are you fucking kidding me? This is such a good video. I love this. And again, I like, because obviously he does a lot of content about like Dark Souls and stuff like that. You know, he's coming at it from like primarily a gameplay perspective. And I really appreciate that, because that's all I give a fuck about. He's missing because he needs to upgrade his PC. Oh, you're right. Yeah. Maybe he's missing. Does this game have de novo on it too?